So, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of our Senior Fireside Chats. Today, we're joined by a very special guest. His name is Mark, and I'll let him introduce himself. Could you please introduce yourself?
Sure, I'd be happy to. My name is Mark, and I live up in Marin County in Nevada. But I grew up in the Fremont area. I was born in 1955. Fremont was a very small town back then. A lot of apricot orchards and all this kind of stuff. It was pretty cool. When I was about in the 8th grade, I moved to Woodside, California. I went to Woodside High for 2 years, and then I went to an integration program in East Palo Alto around 1972. East Palo Alto. I went to Ravenswood High for 2 years. Ravenswood High was demolished, and it stood right where the IKEA store is. That's where Ravenswood High was. Well, anyway, so I know that area quite well, but I'm up here now. I had gotten married when I was 20.
So before you do that, let me explain to the viewers really quickly what our topic is. So Our topic is going to be about relationships, and Mark here is going to give his experiences about his relationships. And after that, we're going to ask him a few questions about some advice he has. So take it away, Mark.
Okay. Well, as I said, I was 20. We got married on June 4th in 1976. And, we met actually at the Stanford Coffee House with the Treasurer Union, where I used to hang out, and she was there with a friend, and we met. And what I wanted to say about relationships, what I learned from my marriage is basically she and I were very romantic. we were both a little on the wild side, and it was very romantic. And then when we got married, well, my wife got pregnant, and she said, we could have an abortion if you want. And I told her, I said, well, we're in love, so why would we do that? Why don't we just get married and have the kid? So we did. We got married, and we had our son. And, for me, having a son, or it could have been a daughter, but it turned out to be a son. That's the only kid I've had. But I'm very, very grateful that I had a son, that I had a child. It changed me a lot. It gave me some insight into my parents and into how hard it is for people with kids who have to kind of struggle financially to do all that stuff. It really makes you think. But anyway, the thing I wanted to point out is that this romantic amorous feeling that we were, this cloud of romance that we were so enveloped in, and that was so intoxicating and overwhelming, this faded over time. And we ran into real difficulties in our marriage. I started she was really, I'd had a girlfriend before her, but it wasn't a very big deal. And then when I married my wife, it was basically my first girlfriend. And, I was very young, and I was working as a stock clerk and a delivery driver. So I was lifting a lot of freight, so I kind of filled out and everything. And, it seemed like a lot of ladies seemed to like me, and I started to get a lot of crazy ideas about, like, if I was single, boy, what a great time I'd be having, and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, I kind of hated myself for those thoughts, because I really did love my wife, and I didn't want to, like, do her wrong or anything like that. But my marriage kind of exploded after 26 years. Not 26 years. 6 years. I was 26 when we separated, but 6 years, it kind of exploded, and not in a very good way. It was a very bad break with a lot of harsh feelings and stuff. To this day, we're not on very good terms. I would like to be on good terms with her, but I guess she feels that the whole thing was all my fault, and I really feel it was more 50-50, really. But she seems to feel like I was like the devil in the works, and it was all on me. But that's how it goes, But I just wanted to tell people that, I had a professor of mine at Cal State Hayward when I majored in literature. I told him I had fallen in love with a girl there at the campus, and that I would like to marry her. And he quickly snapped back at me. He said, marriage is not about love. And, you know, that was a pretty odd statement to hear from somebody, because people usually think the opposite of that statement. But I know a lot of people in America do get divorced. The divorce rate is very high, and I think part of it, I don't know for sure, but I imagine that part of it is people do get very romantic, and then it fizzles and people run into trouble. So I just wanted to lay that out there for young people to know that, you know, I don't think people will really take my advice, because you know how that is. You're gonna fall in love, you know. You're not gonna like. I mean, you're not gonna marry somebody that you don't love, probably. You know.
Yeah.
So you might find out the hard way, like I did. I don't know.
What I found interesting was we actually had another senior come onto the show. Her name was Vivian, and she said some similar things as you actually. Yeah, she said that love, like when you first fall in love and you feel those romantic initial feelings, like they feel amazing, but she taught us that that's not what makes something like a marriage last. And and I think
I want to say that from what I've heard by people like the mythologist Joseph Campbell, or the writer and essayist out in Kentucky named Wendell Berry. These people are well known to people who kind of, you may not have heard of these people, but they say that marriage is a vehicle for growth. You know, that two people bonding in marriage can be like a vehicle for growth and stuff. And as you can probably surmise, in my case, it was not such a vehicle for growth, but even at my point at 65, I would like to get married and have like a relationship that kind of where there was a lot of communication, where if you did have problems, like you were attracted to other women or feeling guilty about it and all this depressing stuff that you're going through, that you could actually talk to your wife about that. Maybe that would help. I couldn't talk to my wife. She would like slap my face or something if I brought that kind of stuff up. So I had to keep it all to myself, and it was pretty horrible. So communication is a great thing if you can have that with your spouse, and you know, so forth. And I think intimacy is kind of a fruit of like communication and honesty, and hopefully people will have that. It might be a good deal for them. So when I do find this lady, I just got on a dating service lately, but it's hard to find somebody, because you don't want to. Ever since I broke up with my wife, I've been very gun shy about getting, you know, committed relationship, and you just don't know what's kind of going to go down the road. It's a risk you have to take. I've heard from some people that it's like, you know, you have to risk it. Yeah, it might not work out, but sometimes you have to take a risk. So it's a very complex, almost confusing kind of thing, really.
Marriage is like a starting point, and it's a vessel for which you can grow your feelings, and I think that says something a lot, and I think people my age don't get that yet, and quite honestly, I don't think we'll be able to get that until many years in the future, when we have our own relationships and we, you know, have our own experiences. But I think it's very good to know, and I want to say thank you for sharing that. And
sure, you're welcome. I'm impressed with I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but I'm glad I'm up to it all, and seems to be going pretty smoothly. So that's great.
Thank you. I mean, you covered my questions pretty well, and I think people my age will have a lot to learn from that. And whether it be the easy way or the hard way, you know, at least the lessons out there, you know, for people there to take in. So maybe they'll when things blow up in their face, they'll remember what I told them. They'll remember this, and they'll be like, I should have listened.
Well, it's kind of impossible to, you know, I mean, I wouldn't have listened to anybody if someone had told me this. I wouldn't have probably listened.
I mean, it's biology. It's kind of hard to listen, but
you know, I mean, hey, Romeo and Juliet, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I want to say thank you to the viewers for tuning into this episode, and thank you to Mark for spending his time and sharing his advice and what he's learned with us. So, yeah. Would you like to say goodbye to the viewers?
It's been a real pleasure. I've enjoyed it.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you, viewers, and until next time.